The crowd was screaming. Lighters were in the air. Phones were recording. But the second Ozzy Osbourne looked down toward the front row, the entire arena went completely silent. No one knew who he saw. No one knew why his hands started shaking. And no one knew that in the next few minutes, "Mama, I'm coming home" would stop being a song and become a confession. The crowd went silent. A Voices of Darkness original story. The lights inside the arena pulsed red, then white, then dimmed into a deep, emotional blue. Tens of thousands of people filled the stadium, young fans, old fans, parents who had grown up on Ozzy Osbourne's music, kids who only knew him through legends and playlists passed down like sacred texts. This wasn't just a concert, this was a pilgrimage. Ozzy Osbourne stood at center stage, black coat hanging loosely from his shoulders, round glasses catching the glow of the spotlight. His hair silver now fell around his face, framing a man who had lived 100 lives in one lifetime. He gripped the microphone stand with both hands. The band behind him was quiet, too quiet. The massive screens flickered. The crowd expected madness. They expected screams. Instead, Ozzy raised one hand, and just like that, silence. Not the awkward kind, the sacred kind, the kind that happens when thousands of people feel something coming, even before they understand what it is. Ozzy looked out over the sea of faces. His eyes moved slowly, scanning, searching. Then he froze. Front row, dead center, his breath caught in his throat. The band members exchanged confused glances. The crowd leaned forward. Ozzy swallowed hard. For a moment, the Prince of Darkness looked human, fragile, older, and deeply, painfully present. The one face in the crowd, there was a woman standing in the front row. She wasn't screaming. She wasn't holding up a phone. She wasn't crying. She was just standing there, hands folded together, eyes locked on Ozzy, trembling like she was trying not to fall apart. She looked out of place among leather jackets and band tees. Her hair was tied back simply. Her face showed years of quiet endurance wrinkles, not from age alone, but from waiting. Ozzy stared at her, and suddenly, the noise of the world faded away. He didn't see the lights. He didn't see the cameras. He didn't see the crowd. He saw a memory, a house that never felt like home decades earlier. A young John Michael Osbourne sat alone in a tiny room in Birmingham, England. The walls were thin. The house was loud. Too many people, too many problems. And yet there was one sound that always cut through everything. His mother's voice, soft, worried, constant. She worked too hard. She slept too little. She believed too much. She believed in a boy who didn't believe in himself. When teachers said he was slow, she defended him. When neighbors whispered, she ignored them. When the world told him he'd never be anything, she told him he was already everything. Mama, he used to call her, even when he got older. Even when the world knew him as Ozzy, Mama never stopped worrying. Not when he left home. Not when the band formed. Not when the drugs came. Not when the headlines screamed his name for all the wrong reasons. She watched him on television, sometimes eyes full of pride and fear at the same time. And every time she saw him, she thought the same thing. Please come home safe. The song that was never just a song, "Mama, I'm Coming Home," was written as a love letter. People thought it was about fame, or regret, or Sharon. But deep down, it was always about home. Not a place, a feeling, a person. A promise that even after all the chaos, all the damage, all the miles, some part of you still belongs to where you came from. Ozzy had sung it thousands of times, but tonight, his throat tightened. Because the woman in the front row looked exactly like his mother. Same eyes, same stillness, same quiet strength, except it couldn't be her. She had passed years ago, hadn't she? The moment that broke him, Ozzy leaned closer to the microphone. His voice cracked, not as a performance, as a reflex. "I didn't plan this," he said. The crowd held its breath. "There's someone down there." He pointed gently toward the front row, "who reminded me why this song exists." The woman covered her mouth. Security guards looked confused. Cameras zoomed in. Ozzy took off his glasses. That alone shocked everyone. His eyes were wet. "You see," he continued softly, "I've lived a life full of noise, but the people who saved me were always quiet." A tear slid down his cheek. "And tonight, I want to sing this for someone who waited a very long time for me to come home." The crowd didn't cheer. They didn't scream. They understood. The first note, the opening chords of "Mama, I'm Coming Home," echoed through the arena, slow, gentle, almost hesitant. Ozzy closed his eyes. The screens behind him showed nothing but soft light. No graphics, no fire, no effects, Just him and her. When he sang the first line, his voice wasn't perfect. It was better than perfect. It was honest. "I've got a lot of things I gotta tell you." The woman in the front row began to cry. People around her noticed, but no one interrupted. No one filmed her. It felt wrong to intrude on something this sacred. A letter finally read out loud. Every word hit harder than ever before. The mistakes, the regret, the longing. This wasn't Ozzy Osbourne, the legend. This was a son, standing in front of the world, finally saying the things he never said when it mattered most. When he reached the chorus, "Mama, I'm coming home," his voice broke completely. He stopped singing. The band softened, playing just enough to hold the moment. Ozzy looked straight at her and whispered off mic, "I made it back." The woman nodded through tears, like she'd been waiting to hear that her entire life. The crowd realizes the truth. Something shifted. People felt it in their chests. This wasn't a show. This was closure. Strangers held hands. Grown men cried openly. Young fans finally understood why this man meant so much to so many people. It wasn't the madness. It wasn't the controversy. It was the humanity. The final verse, Ozzy finished the song quietly. No high notes, no drama, just truth. When the final note faded, no one clapped. Not because they didn't want to, but because clapping felt disrespectful. For a few seconds, the entire arena existed in silence. Then Ozzy spoke one last time. "Never forget where you came from," he said, "and never forget who loved you before the world knew your name." He placed his hand over his heart and walked off stage. What happened after the woman disappeared into the crowd? No interviews, no explanation. Some say she was a family friend. Some say she was a fan who reminded him of his mother. Some say it doesn't matter, because that night wasn't about who she was. It was about what she represented: home, forgiveness, love that doesn't ask for anything back. Why this moment matters in a world full of noise. Ozzy Osbourne reminded us that the quiet moments are the ones that change us forever. Not the screams, not the fame, not the chaos, but the moment you look someone in the eye and finally say, "I'm coming home." If this story moved you even a little, if Ozzy Osbourne's music has ever meant something to you, subscribe to our channel, Voices of Darkness, like this video, share it with your friends who love real music and real stories, and most importantly, help us complete our 1,000 subscribers target. If you truly loved Ozzy Osbourne, now is the time to prove it. Share this video. Spread the story. Let the darkness speak. Voices of Darkness.
If you love me, subscribe to Voices of Darkness. Like this video and share it.